What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the 7-game NBA slate we have here on DraftKings for Monday night. Just want to say happy holidays. Hope you guys had all a great Christmas with your family, friends, and loved ones. Hopefully you got to enjoy, relax, watch a little football, a little basketball, and hopefully get some money, win some money on, Prize Picks or in DFS in general. So hope you guys had a great time. It was a nice few days, seeing everyone. And now we have more DFS. So you never sleep on this job. DFS is pretty much every day, which is great. It's always fun to watch some basketball. So yeah, I'll be talking through my favorite spin-up plays, mid-range options, and value plays. This is going to be a little bit of a quicker breakdown as the games start here pretty soon. So I'm just going to touch on pieces from every team and then build out my lineup or potential lineup for tonight. Obviously, we have to wait on the news. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the slate breakdown. As always, guys, make sure to follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS. Answer the questions you guys have. Follow my free Patreon, which is linked on my Twitter, as well as the YouTube description down below. I will start having daily write-ups for the NBA and NFL out on that. I know it's been just mostly core plays recently. That's just because of the holidays and traveling. But yeah, from now on, it'll be daily write-ups for the NBA and NFL starting tomorrow. My free DFS projections for the NBA will also be out within the next week. Those are super close to being done. So those will also be free for you guys on my free Patreon link down below. So make sure to check that out. Follow me there and follow me on Twitter. And yeah, this is going to be a super quick breakdown because the games start here in a few hours. So I won't be able to do a full breakdown for you guys, but I'll talk over my favorite plays and why. So starting with this Brooklyn-Cleveland game, Durant is going to be the top spin-up play. Him and LaMelo are the only ones above 10,000 on the slate, which is surprising because it is a decent-sized slate. But yeah, Durant, don't mind getting to me there in a tough matchup against Cleveland. And then on the opposite side, obviously, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland both look pretty solid here in a matchup against Brooklyn. My favorite plays are going to be Ben Simmons there at 6,300. And then you can definitely get to like TJ Warren, Kevin Love. They both look like pretty solid value plays in this matchup here. Sadie Osman is there as well if you want to look to him. Obviously, Kyrie. I mean, I do have a good amount of interest in both of these sides, but my favorite play right now is going to be Ben Simmons for the Clippers and Detroit. Kawhi Leonard's out, so love Paul George there at 9,000. He's going to assume all the usage. And then those secondary plays like a Wall looks pretty decent. Man, he should play a good amount of minutes, 5,500. Not the best price tag, but he does have some decent upside. He should play a good amount of the game. I really look to a guy like Zubac there at 5,000 and a guy like where is he? Powell, 5,200. He's been solid the past, 2 months. He was terrible at the start of the season, but now he's, kind of picked it up. So I don't mind him there at 5,200. He does have a good amount of upside. But right now I'm just going to throw Paul George and Zubac in there. Zubac is a little risky, but with Kawhi Leonard being out, they do play a little bit different. They do feature Zubac a little bit more. Saw 23 minutes, 34. He's getting back into the flow of things after being out a few games with some blowouts and some injuries. And with Kawhi back, it does hurt his usage. But yeah. Love Paul George, love Zubac. Don't mind those secondary plays. Luke Kennard should be a solid value play there at 3,800. On the Detroit side, I mean, if you want to get to someone, I'd say just go for the higher usage guys like a Bogdan, Ivy. You can definitely get to Jalen Duren's a fair price from at 5,200. I don't think there's a need to get down to these value plays. Like, they will play the minutes. I just don't think there's a real need to. This team's pretty bad where even if these guys are cheap, they do have upside. It's just they really can't hit it most of the games because they're just so bad. But yeah, they are there. Minnesota and Miami, it really depends on Jimmy if he's going to play. No real interest in this team besides, where is he? Orlando Robinson, who should fill in as the center because Bam is out. And Dwayne Dedmon, I think, is ruled out as well. So yeah, he should fill in the center. He's very, very productive when he's out there. As we saw versus Washington, as we saw versus Houston, he's not going to shoot the ball a ton, but he does have double-double upside. He's pretty productive with all the different stats. So yeah, 3,200, way too cheap there. Going to be super popular, but a very, very solid value play on the day. And that's really it. It really just depends on that Jimmy news because if he is in, it's really just going to be Orlando Robinson for me. If he's out, then that Hero, I guess, is fair at 9,100. Don't love the price tag. Would rather get to Oladipo or Lowry. I think they both look very, very solid. Strus look pretty good there at 5,300. You can get to these secondary pieces, but I'd just stick with the main guys of Hero, Lowry, Oladipo, and Strus, with my favorites being Oladipo and Lowry. Minnesota side, the main guys, the top three, Edwards, Russell, Gobert, all look really good. I like Gobert's matchup the best there at 7,000 against Orlando Robinson. In the secondary plays, you can go to a Noel. Don't mind it, but that's really it. Moving on to Houston and Chicago. Obviously, we really want to attack Houston. DeMar looks very, very good there. Same with Zach and same with Vooch. I'd still prefer getting to DeMar just because he's been the most consistent, and he's offering a pretty high ceiling recently when it comes to, or pretty high peripheral stat ceiling right now with like the assists and rebounds, which is usually not DeMar. He's usually pretty score independent, but yeah, he looks very, very good there. 8,400. So do the other three guys. Let's go to Chicago real quick. In terms of value, you can get to a White, a Williams, an Io if you want. Just no real need for me. Really just prefer the main three. On Houston, I do think KPJ and Jalen Green both look pretty solid at their price tags. You can go to Sengun. He's been good recently, but I really just prefer getting to KPJ and Green. If Martin starts, he looks like an okay value, 4,500. Eason was super popular that other game, but he should see still around only like 20 minutes. He's productive. It could be one of those games where he just well off the bench, so I don't mind taking a shot there. Moving on to Indiana and the Pelicans. On the Indiana side, Halliburton, told you guys how I love him at that price tag. Went off for a career high in points, 43, scored 63.5 fantasy points. The price only moved up $200, and the Pelicans are pretty short-handed. So once again, really, really like Tyrese again tonight. Miles Turner is pretty interesting here too as well, 6,400. Obviously, it's going to be hard to fit him, Zubac, and Orlando Robinson in, but I do think he offers very, very good upside in this game. And then in the secondary plays like Buddy, Mathurin, they look decent. No, Naismith is questionable. Same with Jalen Smith. If Naismith's out, Jalen Smith should start. If they're both out, we could definitely look to Brissett or where is he? Brissett or... Yeah, we could just look to a Brissett, whoever is starting that power forward spot. They look decent. But I really just prefer Tyrese Halliburton or Turner. On the opposite side, Zion is doubtful. Ingram's out. Lance is questionable. Herb Jones is out. Murphy's questionable. Daniels is questionable. So this whole team is questionable. It looks like they're going to be the best value of the day. CJ looks great there at 8,600. Don't mind getting to him. You definitely could throw out Tyrese. Get to CJ there, 8,600, who's shown a pretty high ceiling recently with those guys being out in Ingram and Zion. So you can definitely throw him in there. And then J-Val looks decent. The price has come up to 6,700. Don't love it. It does help if Larry Nance is out, but if he's out and Murphy's out, we could definitely look to Najee to fill in his starting role. Alvarado may sneak in there. Hayes and Hernan Gomez. Hayes has been getting a good amount of run recently. Hernan Gomez as well. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that news. It should come out hopefully soon. And if it does, obviously CJ makes for the best play. And then I'd say Najee make a good play. Same with Alvarado and same with Hayes. So definitely keep an eye on that news there. Moving on to Utah. Fair prices for all these guys. Obviously a great matchup. I don't think there's a real need to get to them. These other plays look a lot better, but they're definitely there as like pivot plays. Prefer getting obviously to the top two guys. Vanderbilt has those ceiling games randomly. Kessler, pretty solid ceiling there as well. Beasley always makes an interesting tournament option. But yeah, it's really just the top two guys for me. Rudy Gay can always be a value play you can plug in. Not the most productive, but he's there. And then the Spurs side, we got Keldon, Vassell. They both look a little bit too cheap here in this matchup. Should be a pretty high scoring game. So I have a good amount of interest in both of them. They really haven't flashed a high ceiling, either one of them recently, so should keep their ownership pretty low. I do like Podol a good amount. He seems pretty cheap. It's just the minutes haven't been there recently. I don't know if they're still limiting him on the knee minutes, but yeah. We know he has massive, massive upside. As we can see from the beginning of the season, he is 40-plus potential, even 50-plus potential. But I think they're just limiting him because of the knee. So unless we get news that he's off that limits minute at 6,000, I just don't think we need to go there. You can get to these other value pieces if you want, but I don't think there's a real need. And then moving on to the last game, Charlotte and Portland. LaMelo and Damian Lillard look very, very good here. They're both very, very high usage guys. The rest of the guys are just secondary pieces. Like you can get to Oubre, whose minutes have come down a little bit. Grant, okay. Rozier's there as well at 7,000. A cheap enough price tag. You can definitely take a shot on him. Simons is down to 6,500. I don't mind it. He plays a ton of minutes. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. So I do think I have a little bit of interest in him there at 6,500. Even playing alongside Dame. Nurk is a little bit cheap there at 62. But yeah, that's really it for this slate breakdown. To fill in the rest of the lineup, I think we're gonna go back to the Pelicans. Assume that Marshall will probably slide in the starting lineup. He'll be a little bit more aggressive. I'm gonna throw him in there. Leaves us with 6,500 left over between the guard and the forward spot. Let's take it off of Pelicans. Let's go to the guard and forwards. Let's see here. Let's go to guards. Let's see who's around 6,500. No, I think I'm going to do this. So we're going to go to, I like Keldon there at 7,300, 5,800 left over for the guard spots. It gets you to Victor Oladipo. If Jimmy's rolled out, looks like a great pivot play there. You can get to an Ivy if you want. Man's there as well. Struz. So we do have a good amount of options. Powell, Beasley. So there's a good enough options here in this 5K range. Obviously, if Murphy's out, we can get to like an Alvarado or one of those guards on the Pelicans to fill in. So I do think it leaves us enough left over to get to very, very solid plays here, depending on how the news goes. So yeah, that's going to do it for the slate breakdown. For now, we'll just throw in, let's just throw in Victor to get a piece from that Miami game. Where'd he go? Right there. So yeah, that'll do it for the breakdown. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.